Okay, here you go, you guys. Today we did the build video on how to build the Benett V2. The differences here in the new Benett V2, much longer wing, so it flies more stable, more like a glider. The Benett V2 comes in two versions. One comes with a black wing and black empennage, or a white wing and a white empennage. The wings can be painted. You can put decals on them, whatever you want to do. The fuselages, if you really want to make the fuselage good and strong, tough, durable, use Plasti-Dip spray paint and give the fuselage one or two coats of Plasti-Dip, and it'll make your fuselage very strong and durable. Let's see, today we shot the video with two of our students at STEM Plus C. We shot the video with mistakes and everything so that when you make mistakes on your end, we show you the mistakes and how to correct them. And so yeah, it's a pretty raw video, but it's just like you might experience in the classroom. Anyway, I hope you enjoy flying the Benett V2. It sure is a really nice flying, stable trainer airplane. I hope you and the kids enjoy it in your classroom. All right. Today we got Anson and Delaney. They're going to show us how to build a Benett V2. So let's get started. Okay, so in your kit here, you're going to get an assortment of parts and pieces. First thing you're going to get or pull out of the kit is the fuselage. And the fuselage has a piece of foam in there that you can remove. You can put this aside. We can use these for some additional things that with the build in the future. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to punch out the wings and the tail surfaces from the foam board. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is just start removing the parts and pieces. You'll notice in the kit you get two vertical stabilizers and two rudders. One is just a spare set in case you need it. We had the room on the foam board to go ahead and make those available, so those are in there for you. These pieces here are going to be spar pieces for our wing.
Bless you.
Bless you, Delaney.
Thank you.
So anyway, we'll get those punched out.
All right. Together.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we got our wings popped out here. We're going to have a right side and the left side. We're going to pop out this section right here. We're going to pop that out, and you may have to go over that line, one of the lines with the knife like Anson's doing here, just to make that cut just a little bit deeper. You're not trying to go through the paper. That's all you're trying to do is just open it up a little bit. And then as Anson moves along there with moving it out, he can pull a little bit out with his fingers if he wants. Delaney's doing the same thing here. Just popping that out. And just take your time, pop it out real slow.
It's really strong.
You should be able to just go like this. Huh?
Well, yeah, okay, watch your fingers.
Take your finger and just pull. And if you twist, and now Anson will show you how you can just pull it out with your fingertips. Delaney's got hers out. Now, we'll do this because Delaney does have a little rip in hers, but I'll show you how we can fix that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to remove this little piece of foam. This little piece of foam, we're going to free our aileron. And we're going to make some creases into the foam. So Delaney's using a knife there just to remove that piece. These little parts and pieces, these scrap pieces that we have, put these aside. These are good for if we need to spread any hot glue at all. You see Delaney here is popping out the aileron. That's all she's going to do is bend it downwards. There we go, that's it. Now, put your wings back up on the table, and just like Anson's doing here, you're going to run the skewer, the blunt end of the skewer, through the crease, just like Anson's doing here. Just drag that right through, Delaney, just drag it through the crease. Push down pretty hard because you want to make a nice crease there. And just like Anson did, Anson did it perfect here. He did his aileron as well. He did this section, he did this section. So Anson's looking good. Delaney's looking good. Perfect, Delaney. We're doing this real time here too, so that if the kids make any mistakes, we're going to show you how to fix those mistakes. That's one of the things that's great about having the kids, the students here do the video with me, because we can show you how to fix mistakes. One more, Delaney, we're going to crease this one just like Anson did.
Forgot.
We're going to crease right here.
Oh.
Perfect. Nice. All right. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to put the spars in. These are our spars, and I'll show you how these go. All right. Next thing we're going to do here is we're going to join up the wings. So this is the top side of the wing now. As you can see, Delaney, flip it around so that they can see the bottom side. There's the bottom side with our how we crease these. All right, next thing Anson and Delaney are gonna do here is we're gonna join the wings. We're gonna line them up just like they have it. Anson's gonna put a piece of tape here and a piece of tape here. Just this. And this is just simply Gorilla packing tape. It works really nice. Perfect. Okay, we can flip it over. All right, now we're gonna run a bead of glue right here and right here. You're just gonna dig that's all you're gonna do is dig the nose of the glue gun into there and push glue in there as you go along. You're just trying to get glue into the joint. It's a lot of glue, Anson.
We're gonna squeegee it.
I'll give Delaney a squeegee there. And now Delaney, you can just squeegee the glue.
This way?
You can squeegee up and down. But Anson's got it like this way.
Yeah, so just
but Anson got quite a bit of glue in there, so when you come to the edge, just go to the side with it.
Ooh.
And you can kind of force it into the crack. There you go, now you can do the same thing up here. There you go. Then you can just set that aside.
Ooh, we're good.
Okay, the next thing we can do to reinforce this here is we can put a piece of packing tape across both of those. Okay, now Anson's going to go ahead and put a piece of packing tape across the glue joint there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do here is put our spars in place, but we're going to have to make a couple of marks first for where our servos are going to go. So Anson's going to fold this over, and then he's just going to outline the square on the inside of the wing.
What are you doing, Mom?
I'm home.
It's not. It's November.
I was at school for like 3.5 hours.
Okay, Anson and Delaney marked the holes right there where the servals are going to go through. Next thing they're going to do, they're going to put the spars in place. And notice when you put the spars in place, you just want them to butt up on each end to where the servo is going to go. So like Anson's doing there, they're going to double that one up. They're going to double those up. Delaney, you can line that one up right to the edge there. It doesn't have to be quite to the edge, but just like that.
It's easier if you double them up before you put them down.
Either way, we'll have you double yours up, and Delaney will have you put yours down one at a time. Delaney, your glue gun's right over there.
Oh, perfect.
And we don't need, Anson, that's probably a little too much. You just need a little bit, because that's all we're trying to do is just stick these together. If you add a lot of glue, it makes, actually, Delaney, go right to the spar. Because then if you do,
Okay.
yeah, here, let me show you. If you go right to the spar, then you're putting the glue right where you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you put the glue down first, now you might have glue over here where you don't need it.
Gotcha.
So Anson glued his spars together first. Delaney just put a little bit of glue. Delaney put about the right amount of glue on hers.
I'm smarter than Anson.
And then it doesn't have to go right to the edge, but just close. Delaney left a little bit of space there. She can butt it up a little bit closer. There you go, right like that. Anson's putting the center spar on. Again, that's just the right amount of glue right there. Doesn't need to be a lot at all. And you want to put those spars right in the center of this piece right here, or else your bend won't work right. Delaney's got her spars in place. Delaney, you can move on to putting this one in place right here, right on the leading edge.
And it's fine because it covers the tape, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Here we go.
All right. So Delaney, it's actually better if you go ahead and put the spar right here, butt it up against the leading edge, and you want to make sure that it's flush with the leading edge, just like that. So nice and flush. And then Anson's going to put his in place. And just make it flush with the leading edge. All right, we got that part done. Now, one of you can take the wing and fold it over, and we're going to create the shape to the wing. So we want this surface on the table. So flip your wing.
Hold up. Polly, don't you need to put glue?
No, we're not
These
putting glue
creases?
yet. We're
Okay.
making sure everything fits right.
Oh, I didn't glue this one down.
Minor mistake there, or minor detail.
We're gonna cut that out.
Not even a
Oh my
mistake.
God. I was about to say, I was like, Anson, yours are so crooked.
And try to put that right in the center
So not like that.
of your work there.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Now,
Better.
let that dry for a second before we move it.
We can blow on it.
Hold it
In
down.
front of me.
All right, now you can take that part, fold it over. Now flip your wing over. And now just make sure this is creased right.
So it should create an arrow.
Yeah, so now you've got an airfoil shape there. So we can flip the wing back over.
Here it is.
Now, what Anson and Delaney are gonna do, in these creases here, they're just gonna run a small bead of hot glue into the creases. Just a small bead. It doesn't have to be large gooping. Just a small bead. Dig the nose into there.
You want to
Just
the
a
outside?
tiny bead. Go quick, Anson. Real quick. Don't delay. Just go whoop.
Ooh.
There you go, Anson. Good. Delaney, do the same thing on your side.
You want it all the way?
All the way across. Yep. Dig it in there and just pull it across just like Delaney's doing here. Delaney, it works better if you take your glue gun at an angle. Put it at an angle,
Okay.
like this, and come through.
Like this way?
Yep, like that works too. Hey, you already got glue in
Yeah,
there,
I was
so
gonna
that's
say,
fine.
okay.
Go to the next seam.
This one?
Yep. And go ahead and just zip it right through. Oh, and I think you need another thing to glue, Delaney.
Here.
Thank you. Push this one through.
This part, you want to make sure you have a glue stick handy because the glue's going to dry and we got to get this flipped over. Go ahead, Delaney. Go ahead. Go quick.
Good.
So this is like when you put on the action music, the dun dun dun. Are you gonna run out of time?
Okay, now you guys can flip it over and get that crease going. And hold it just like that. And just hold it there for a couple seconds. Let the glue dry.
It's really entertaining footage, Polly.
I know.
I feel like this entire video is just like a showcase for my nails.
Yeah. Do anything yet? Okay. I think the glue's dried. We gave it a minute there. We held this edge nice and flat to the work surface. Now flip your wing back over and open it back up again. Open this back up.
Oh yeah. I thought we glued that.
Me too.
Okay, now we're gonna glue this together. So again here, Delaney, we wanna make sure we got you a good glue stick so that we can do this all at once.
I have a glue stick.
What we're gonna do here, you guys, we're gonna put a bead of glue here, and a bead of glue there, and the same thing here, bead of glue all down there. Then we're gonna fold our wing in half, just like we did earlier, and glue it all up. Delaney, just keep going till you don't have any more glue, and then we'll
There's
add
a
glue
lot
stick.
of, there's still like,
Okay.
A lot of
it's,
glue.
yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
drip.
All right, so you guys, go ahead, just a bead of glue. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And that's all we're doing. This isn't structural or anything. That's all it's doing is holding it in place. So you don't have to use a lot of glue at all.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
I just
Now,
figured you want your half.
Anson and Delaney are going to take the wing and fold it back over just like this. And then hold it there for a second. Delaney, get that out of the way so the wing doesn't misform. There you go. You want this trailing edge to be nice and flat on the work surface.
ASMR.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to get our servos ready to be installed. So Anson and Delaney are going to take apart the boxes and dig the servos
You have
out.
nails. Can you do this for me?
Yeah. Of course. There you go.
Thank you so much.
All right.
You're so welcome.
You can empty the contents of the box onto the table. So you're going to have the servo itself. And you're going to have a package of screws and arms.
Oh, Anson, you're gonna have to do these tiny screws because of my nails.
Oh, okay.
Now, you can
The
open up
benefits
the
of having nails.
package.
Yeah, fair trade off.
You guys can each open up the package.
This?
Yep. And dump the package onto the table. And I want to show everybody what's in the package. Go ahead and put that right in the black. So it
Yeah,
shows
but then
up
you
real
lose the
nice.
black screws.
Okay. So what we're going to need here, we're only going to need this arm right here. So Anson, you can take these other three and just put them to the side. Delaney, you can do the same thing. We only need those, the arm.
The what?
No, just that one arm. Those other ones we don't need. You can put those aside. You can throw them
Just
wherever
that
you
one,
want.
yeah. Just throw them at Anna.
Okay.
Okay, now we need to center the servos. So Anson, go ahead.
So to center servos, you're gonna use a tool like this, and you're gonna put it on neutral, and when you plug it in, you're gonna make sure that the colors match the signal there. So S is yellow, red or positive is red, and brown is negative. Plug it in. Your servo should center itself to its neutral position. Then you just install your horn, and you're gonna use the black screws, the tiny black screws, to screw it in.
Yep, now hold on one second here, Anson. I'm going to show everybody something here. So Anson's doing this side of the wing. So something we want to do here is he's got it set up right. We want the servo to go in like this so that the wire is on this side.
Towards the front of the wing.
Yep, toward the front, because that's where the channel is to get our servo wire to go through there. So Anson's got his right, you want to center it so that the arm is right there. I'm going to step through the other functions here. If you notice when I press that one, the servo goes back and forth. If I press this one, it allows me to control it with the reel. And then the center position there tells us that that's where the center position of the servo is. So Anson's is correct. And we'll let him go ahead and put the screw in there in place. And it's the little black screws. You don't want to use the pointy screws. Anson can use his thumb here to hold this in place when he starts to go tight so that it doesn't move the servo out of center.
Or since it's plugged in, if you keep it plugged in, it will resist your torque.
There we go. Now we'll let Delaney do her side. Again, we're going to do the same thing. Delaney's going to plug it in so that the signal, the yellow wire, is on the bottom. Nope, take a look, signal on the bottom.
Oh, my bad.
And then you can see her arm is not quite on there centered. So she's going to remove the arm.
Ooh.
And then Delaney, we want yours on the other side over here.
That is true. You might have to put it on. Okay.
Just let me know.
All right. There we go. We're good.
Oh.
See if
Wait.
you can put it on there a little bit.
Wait, how? Wait, in terms of center, what do you mean?
Like
straight
middle.
forward, like this?
In the middle.
Like in the middle. It's like if
In the
this is
middle, like
servo-
this way?
No.
Nope, the other
90
way.
degrees.
90 degrees.
So this way.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. We got it. We're good.
And then Delaney's going to put one of these little black screws
You're
on
gonna
there.
have to do
Okay.
that. Oh, thanks.
Okay, now we just centered our servos. Okay, the next step here. Anson and Delaney are going to take these little pieces and they're going to glue these in place right here. All right, you guys go ahead and just put a little glue on the bottom side, or if it's easier, you can put just a little dab of glue around here too. But either way works. This way, the way they're doing it, is the way you burn your fingers.
Not
Oh,
if you're
we're
very
fine.
tactically skillful.
So Anson did it.
That is correct.
Anson's putting his on there. And make sure that none of the wood is covering the hole. That's the important thing.
I did absolutely just get it all over my hands.
Did you burn yourself?
No, it's not hot.
See?
So
Do
go
I
ahead
put
and
that
put
on?
that
Hot
in
glue
place.
doesn't burn
Someone
you.
want to put that on for me?
Oh.
Thanks.
Delaney needs some assistance
Yeah,
here.
I just need a little bit of help. That's all.
And push that in place, Anson.
At least hot glue is easy to like remove.
All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drop our servos in one at a time. So let's have Anson do his first. Anson's gonna put his servo in place here. He's gonna put the servo.
Alright, so to fish your wire through, you're just going to start it by using your piano wire push rod for your tail.
This push rod is included in the kit, so just engage it on the back of the servo like that.
And then just push it through.
And then just push it through.
It'll pop right through,
Pop
easy.
right.
And then you pull it out while you hold that so it doesn't pull back out. And then you fed your wire. And you just tuck your servo down.
Now, what Anson's going to do here next, he's going to use two of these screws to secure his servo to the mount. All right, so what we're going to do before we put Delaney's in, we're going to put a piece of tape over here because she cut through the paper a little bit. So that's all she's going to do. She's got to, and we're going to apply it here on the top first, Delaney. Just like that. And just run it across. Now start bending it over. Perfect. Anson, you can do that on your side too, just to reinforce your leading edge. Strengthen it up. And now we can double it up, or we can cut one long piece now to go along the whole leading edge.
Good.
Yep. We'll just go with that. It made a funny noise.
Thank you, Anson.
Sorry, I just thought that had to be commented
No,
on.
it's alright. I know, I can just cut it off.
It just went over the edge a little bit, no big deal. Okay, now we're gonna flip it back over and we're gonna get Delaney's servo installed.
Feel free, Anson.
And we're gonna
Oh,
use
it's
the
up to
push
you.
rod again,
Anson.
okay.
just like we did with Anson's.
She's
Anson.
delegating.
Oh,
Yes, of course.
her nails don't exactly work out for
Right.
doing this kind of stuff. But anyway, if you see, Anson's just getting the tip of that push rod into the connector,
Nice.
and then just pushing it through like that.
I actually got under the tape, but
Cut the.
Yes.
You can cut the.
and yank your push rod out, and
Anson can put that one in place, and then you guys can put the screws in.
Nice.
And you
your
wanna use these
screws are
two-
right there.
Thank you.
the wood silver screws are what you want to use here.
Yep, just the wood screws, not the black screws.
And you have 3. You only need 2 of them per servo.
Delaney, you can put those in. Or
I
Oh,
can't do
nails.
it with
Yeah,
my.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it
Nails
with my
don't work
nails.
so good.
Mm.
Okay, I got them.
Do you have both?
Oh yeah.
And Anson's just gonna put those screws in right there.
I'm not in the hole. Easy.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, for when you're doing this next one, it helps. I already did this on that one, but take a screwdriver, take a small one. I don't know if it's gonna focus on that, but and then just go in there and spin it around a bit to make the tip of the hole a little wider, and it makes the screw easier to put in. And you just take your impossibly small screw. There we go.
Now we're gonna take that screw.
And it helps to hold it on both sides, but it kind of blocks the camera, so I'll try not to do that.
No,
There we
we're
go.
doing it. The only reason why we're doing this is just to open the hole a little bit so that we can get our push rod through.
And you just need to get it in just so that you're at the wide point, and then you can just back it out, and then you're done, and then you can test your push rod, and watch your push rod fit perfectly in.
Yay.
Okay, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put the control horns on here and the clevises. So Anson's gonna take that screw and we're gonna pre-drill the screw through that hole. And we just wanna get it started, just like maybe 2 twists. We don't wanna put it all the way through. We just wanna get it started just like that. Okay, now these wings aren't marked where this
Horn goes
control
in.
horn is going to go. So Anson, that's all you're going to do. You can take that bottom part piece off so it's out of your way. And you notice he's got his control rod there rather straight. Now he's just going to line it. It doesn't even have to be perfectly aligned. One of the things that he is trying to do is get the holes lined up with the
Crease.
aileron crease. He's just going to make a little mark there. You can push it through.
And you
Push
just-
all the way through.
Yeah, just all the way through.
Okay, make sure
Anyway.
it's nice and straight.
Yep.
And
You
push
wanna-
it so that it's flat.
Yeah, I know, but you want to put hot glue underneath it, right?
Yep.
So now you put a little bit of hot glue underneath it. right there, right there.
Doesn't have to be a lot, just a dab will do you.
Yep, and then
Don't have to do the.
oh, that is a lot. But you just take your squeegee and you squeegee a little bit of it gone. You can overlap it so it's a little stronger. And then here we got a strong bond. And then you can flip your wing over. And on the top part, it should be sticking through. You take your bottom part. There's a round chamfered side, and then there's the rough bottom side. You put the rough bottom side down, and you're gonna put another bit of hot glue.
No hot glue on this one. Just push that straight down.
Oh.
Because you already got hot glue on the other end.
It might fly off. Oh, actually, it's pretty tight. Oh wow, that is tight. There we go.
Yep.
All right, hold on. I need to call my mom. She just called me.
That's all you do. All right, you ready, Anson?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna put the next control horn on. Again, Anson, you can remove that part.
So make sure when you're doing your control horns that you have the aileron flush with the rest of the wing, and you don't want it up like this or down like this because that'll mess you up. Once again, break those apart. Figure out roughly where you want it. Put your hot glue
Just a dab.
and just shove it down. And take your other side, put it on. It helps to just put it on both sides, have a hand on both sides, and just go snug it together as best you can and straighten it out. And
There we go.
you got your horn.
Now, before we connect these, what we're gonna do is in that seam right there, we're gonna run hot glue down there. So, Anson, what I want you guys to do, run a bead of glue, bury the nozzle in there, and just kind of get that in there really good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, you're not gonna gut it?
No, I can.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you got some.
And bury the nozzle in there, Anson, like get it all the way in there. So that we have a nice strong seam.
Ooh, watch out for horns.
And then you can take one of your squeegees and just squeegee that in there real good. Just take something like that. Then you can do the same thing. You can grab a spare piece over there and just
I didn't
squeegee
have this
that.
mostly.
And
Anson
just-
likes to go a little crazy with the glue.
You can hold
I
that
do.
down.
I think glue is strong.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to put these pieces on, and those pieces are going to go right into the control horn right here, right at the top, one on each side. Yep, you can slide it on here first. Sometimes that makes it easier to hook it up later.
You just once it's through, you just squeeze it
Squeeze it.
together till you get a click. Then you can go line these up and then just
And he's working hers in over there. And just go right to the top hole.
the hole.
That's why I said sometimes it's easier to connect it first.
That's probably true. Does this one have a hole?
Alright, so Anson's going to put his clevis on there. And like I said, sometimes it's easier to hook it up first, but either
Squeeze
way,
it
doesn't
to the
matter.
clicks. Mine has a little bit of extra plastic extrusion blocking the hole, but we'll call it fine and just.
Well, something else that does make a difference here is you notice Anson's screw is on the outside. Delaney, we'll flip yours around and put your screw so that it's on the outside. And then
That's just so that when you make adjustments to the trim.
what we're going to
Yeah,
do
go
here now
inside.
is we're going to make sure that the aileron is flush with the surface. I'm going to hold it here while Anson screws the screw in place. It's better to pinch that. Yeah, there you go. Alright, Delaney, you can do the
Do
same
that.
thing. Make sure
We're about to
your
find out.
aileron is nice and flush over there. Like that, not like that or like that.
I can like only
So
just
here, I'll
squeeze
hold it. Or I'll hold it like, yeah.
I actually might not be able to. Oh, there we go.
It's not spinning.
No. Okay. Then.
Okay, so Delaney will hold it.
Yep.
Delaney's nails are getting in the way.
So if you do have nails, just bite them off immediately as soon as you realize you're going to build an airplane.
Yeah.
There we go. Our wing is almost complete. Nancy, you just gotta button that down a little tighter.
That one was not tight. Yeah, here, Delaney, you hold that. There we go.
All right, the wing is complete.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, we're on to the fuselage now. So we're gonna have to center another servo here. And again, at the, I'm also going to show you how to center a servo if you do not have a servo center. Anyway, just like earlier, I'm gonna separate the contents. We got our servo. Get rid of the extra parts and pieces that we don't need. I'm going to hook the servo up to the servo center. And again, just look at the yellow should be lined up with the signal. And then that blue button should be illuminated blue in the middle.
Do you want to put the little thing on?
Oh, yeah.
And the way that we're going to install that, yep, you got it right, Anson.
Yeah. Wait, hold up. Yeah.
Just like that.
And
And then go ahead and click through the buttons just to make sure everything's right. I always check it. There we go. Now Anson's going to put that black screw.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Good.
Okay, we can turn off the servo center.
And now you'll take your tiny screwdriver again, and you're gonna, while it's out, you're gonna drill.
Oh, I stopped. No, I'm still recording. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you're gonna do the hole widening, and you're gonna make this a little bit bigger for the screw. And you're gonna take one of your wood screws. And you're gonna hold it and find the hole, and then once it's started, just
And again, the only reason why Anson's doing this is because these holes are just, on some of these, are just a little too small to accommodate the piano wire. But this totally is a solution. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to glue this piece to the outside of the fuselage.
Thanks.
Something that we can do here with the fuselages that makes them really, really super strong and durable is we can spray paint them ahead of time with
Just
something
because it's
called Plasti
tiny,
Dip.
I'm putting glue on the.
And we can paint them too with any color Rust-Oleum paint. Give a good bead of glue around there because that one we don't want to come off. So yeah, good.
Good.
And again, you want that so that you don't block the hole at all.
And if there's any glue inside, just wait till it's kind of dry and use your finger or squeegee or tool to unblock it.
Yep. Anson, now you can drop the servo in there.
Now you want the horn to point up. You can just fish your wire through the center. You don't need the horn for this one.
Anson's gonna go ahead and put the screws in there.
Yep.
Make sure the holes line up. And again, these screws, just snug. They don't have to be tight. We're just holding it in place. If you over tighten it, it can actually damage the wood, and then the screw's not doing anything. So that's it. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put our control surfaces on. Okay, moving on here. Next, we're gonna do our vertical and horizontal stabilizer. We're gonna pop out that middle piece. Okay, after we pop out the middle piece, we're gonna grab our dowels,
Skewers.
our skewers, and that's all we're gonna do is crease the hinge there. And then when you're done, just flex the elevator up and down. Just make sure you got enough movement up and down. That's perfect, Anson. That's perfect, Delaney. Good. Now, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna glue our rudder
Yep.
to our elevator. The first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put a piece of packing tape over that.
Because it'll break easily. But
Yep.
if a student breaks it, you just put it back together, tape it.
So in the basic design kit here, that's all we're not using the rudder. We're using ailerons to control, but you can add the rudder if you want, no problem.
That's really long.
That's a lot of tape. You
That's a
want
lot
to
of
cut it
tape.
down?
Yeah.
How much you want off?
Like, yeah.
You made me go in a really weird position for that.
Sorry about it.
There's a rotate and then a rotate again, Delaney. But once you have the tape, it's unflexible.
Yep, that's what we want. Now, we're gonna flip these over so that the hinge side is down. And we're just gonna put a little bead of glue here and a little bead of glue here.
You want it this way, right?
Yep. So I'm gonna install that.
And so it should be smooth, the top, your crease is on the bottom, and then you just go.
And just a dab of glue, we don't need a ton, we just need enough to hold it in place. Now you can grab one of the little pieces from your kit, and then you can just hold that 90 degrees there so that it's at a 90-degree angle, just like Delaney's doing there. And then just let it dry for a minute. Okay, the next part here, we're just gonna add a little bit of glue on the inside there. And it works great if you hold the, yep, just like Delaney's doing, hold the gun at a slight angle. You're not pointing the tip straight down, you're holding it at an angle. You'll get a nice like caulk bead in there. And you're just gonna take a spare piece of foam board and just wipe it. And you're not trying to remove the glue, you're just trying to make a nice caulk bead in there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to glue our control surface, or our empennage, onto the back of the fuselage.
So ridiculous.
You only need one, so we got rid of the other one.
Okay, now that we got our empennage built, the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put our control horn in place. So Anson, go ahead, go over closer, a little bit closer to the rudder. A little bit closer to the rudder.
Right there-ish.
Yep, and remember your holes should line up with that.
Yep. So you're gonna want it right there-ish. And once again, you're gonna glue it a little bit.
Just a dab of glue, you don't even need a lot.
Push it through, and then there's the other part right there. And you go on both sides, and you just, wow, these are strong. You really just go until it's flush.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, now after he does that, we can put the clevis on.
Yep.
And does that have the screw in it yet, Anson?
It does not.
Let's get the screw started in first. It's gonna be easier that way.
Yep. We're gonna put the screwdriver for that right here. And then when you're mounting your clevis, make sure that your screw points away from the rudder, so that way you have adjustability and you can access the screw later. And just squeeze again until it snaps in.
Okay, next we're gonna put the empennage and glue it onto the surface of the fuselage.
I hate
There's
hot
glue everywhere.
And you're just gonna line it up to the center. There's two. What I like to do is you can put your fingers on both the chamfer edges here and just use that to line it up perfectly and then push it flush. And that's how you know it's perfect. But this time we're gonna put glue on here. And we're gonna do that exact same process, so. And then once you got it lined up, just push down on it.
And now at the back, make sure your elevator goes up and down.
Ooh.
If it doesn't, just slide the elevator back just slightly.
Yep. And just keep it even, make sure it's straight, so if you look down it should line up straight, and now...
Keep moving it back.
No, that's just how far it goes down. It needs to be creased more.
Okay, no, that's perfect. Actually, the down, you barely need any down.
Is that
You
pushing?
yeah, you never do like a full deflection down. All right, is that good, Anson?
Yeah, that's good. Do you want to add toothpicks?
Okay, so something I want to show you here on the bottom is to just make sure that your elevator can deflect and it's not hitting the fuselage there. So I'm going to give this back to Anson. Anson's going to add a couple of
Toothpicks?
toothpicks. Delaney's got the clipper over there, doesn't he? So Anson, when you put those in, we're just using them like nails.
Yep.
Put them at a slight angle, not straight up and down. Put them at an angle is usually best.
Wait, did you say clippers or tweezers? Or
Clippers.
pliers?
And then,
And just push them into place.
it might be hard because you might hit the glue, which is much stronger than the foam. So if you hit the glue, just push through it.
And then remember, this one's toward the back end, so if you go that way, you might come out of the fuselage.
It did when you bumped my finger hand.
So turn it around, twist it around, and go toward the front of the airplane. There you go, and then do the same thing on the other side.
No,
Actually,
you only
now
need
you
3.
can. Yep, nope, that's fine. That's all we need is 3. So grab the clipper, and remember, hold the top end when you clip, and clip it right at the surface. Now you can reuse that one to add
Reuse.
another nail right here.
Reuse what?
The
You
top.
can use.
Oh, this?
Yeah, the toothpick.
Oh, okay. I was confused. Which direction?
You can
Towards the front.
towards the front.
Towards the nose. Towards Polly. Like you're just trying to get at Polly. We love Polly here.
Alright. It's a little crooked.
That's okay. Doesn't matter. All right, and then you can give the rest of the toothpicks a clip.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're on that side.
So kind.
I just kind of figured you want
Yeah.
to clip.
No, of course.
So there we go. Next, I'm going to have Delaney is going to use this piano wire. She's going to put it in there.
Ooh.
Okay, Delaney's gonna go ahead and put the push rod through there. I'm just gonna run it down to the end.
There we go.
And now you can use a screwdriver. You guys work together as a team to secure that. Or probably better Anson, because Delaney's got the long nails.
We got clippers right here, actually.
Funny.
Yeah, we can take care of those nails.
Yeah, I mean. And you want a little bit of up, just a smidge, when you're tightening this down. But you can always adjust that later.
Here we go.
So when you install your zip ties, to keep this from deflecting while it's in the air, you want to take the head of your zip tie and put your head down. And you're going to wrap it around. And then eventually you're going to rotate it like that, and you're just going to pull it tight. Like that, and then you're going to hot glue your zip tie down.
Yep.
Wait.
Make that hole a little bit smaller. Keep pulling it there. You can make the hole smaller, Anson. Keep pulling.
Oh, mine?
Pull.
Both of ours?
Yeah, both ears can be real small as you could go.
Oh.
There you go. Perfect.
And then just take your glue gun and make a bead of a straight line of glue just where you're gonna put it down. And well, that is like right next to my fingers. And just push it down. You might want to use a skewer so that it doesn't seep onto your fingers.
And then you're gonna have to hold it in place there, Delaney.
I'll take one of them.
Hold it nice and straight like that.
Big
There you go.
difference.
And Delaney, you can add a little hot glue over the top ears like,
Like,
like
yep.
Anson did. Just secure it in place.
You burn yourself there, Paulie?
No, it was all dry.
Oh.
And you can take a little squeegee and just
Stir it around on the top.
squeegee it.
Is it okay? Where's the flying kit?
And you're not trying to remove it, you're trying to like squeegee it. There you go. That's like squeegeeing it. All right, perfect. Now you can clip these tails off.
And these tails are trash.
There we go. The next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna install the motor.
Oh my god.
Isn't that terrifying? Yeah.
All right, you guys ready? Okay, the next thing we're gonna do here is open up the motor
Oh,
box.
it might have already been cut actually.
It's not. Oh, I lied.
And then inside the motor box. Now, this motor does not have these little connectors soldered to it. So we are going to show you how to do that. This is only for the schools. Some of the schools want to teach the kids how to solder. So we're keeping the bullets separate so that these schools can go through a little soldering exercise with their students. If your motors come with these already installed, you can skip this step so you won't have to do this. So anyway, also there's a package of screws that you see Delaney emptying. Those screws, we need to save them all. So just empty them onto a plate so that they don't run away.
Oh,
You can cut that to make it easier to get them out too.
got it.
There you
We're
go.
Good.
So we got all those
It takes
screws.
so long.
Don't throw away those screws or keep them somewhere where you're not going to lose them. And now Anson's going to show you how we solder the bullets on. And
So-
again, only certain schools are going to do this.
A while back, I made this jig for soldering these specifically, but since your school might not have it, I'm gonna do the first two like that. And then the alternative way is to have somebody hold a pliers up. So here, Delaney, can you hold that shut? And we'll just do the first one like that. Where's the iron?
Don't forget we got to pre-tin our wires a little bit.
No, they're pre-tinned. They are pre-tinned.
Yeah, so our wires are pre-tinned. They have solder on the end already.
Yep. So the first step that you're gonna do is yank out some of your solder. And I like to just put a little bit on the tip, just so it conducts better. And then you're gonna make a pool.
Put it right into the hole. Put it right in the hole, Anson.
Put it. I'm doing it on the side. It gets right in the hole. And then you just make a little pool in there, right there, till it's flush to the top. And you're just gonna heat it up again and drop in your wire.
As straight up as possible, not crooked, Anson.
Yeah,
Straight
it's
up and down.
Then it's good. Delaney can let go, and it's perfect. Now the next two I'm gonna do with the jig. And you can just.
Let me point out one important thing here before you solder, Anson. Try not to get solder on the side here. What's important is if you get any solder on the side and it leaks down onto the bullet, Anson, twist the top of the bullet there.
Okay.
You notice that the bullet spins freely. If the bullet does not spin freely, your motor will not work properly. It's very important to get that solder right into the hole and not onto the outside.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It helps to have like a scraper or wet sponge to help clean your solder.
The other thing, see how Anson's doing them one after the other? He can just keep the iron there and dip, you don't have to reheat it. So there, you got your solder in. Now keep your iron against the bullet.
Yeah. You just
and go straight up and down.
You just keep it till it stops moving, and then it's done. Then you can go pull it out, do the next one.
Heat it up. And then keep the heat there, Anson, because you actually want to melt a little bit of the solder on the wire itself.
Yep.
So keep applying heat.
That's good.
There we go. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to apply the heat shrink. I'm going to show you a technique here with applying the heat shrink so that you don't need a heat gun to apply it.
Yep.
So that's all Anson's going to do is put the heat shrink on there.
And it just slides on. And then you're going to notice, I don't know how macro that or micro that's going to get, but you see that little shift right there where it steps down. You want to get it to close to the edge of that, but
shaft
not
of
quite the
bullet.
edge. Yep.
Now just take your soldering iron and
Just
just lightly run it
touch
back
it.
and forth.
Slightly, yep.
And that'll shrink the tubing down.
Where were you? On the driveway?
Okay, go ahead and do the other two, Anson. So again, not all the schools are going to have to do this, just the ones that want to have the soldering exercise. Teacher professional development, we are going to be soldering these on.
Here, and then if there's a little, like this one has a little bit of a big bump, so you can just kind of smooth that out with your soldering iron and make that a little bit smaller. And then you can be able to slide the solder or the heat shrink on a lot easier. And then you got 4 or 3 nicely soldered joints.
Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to install the motor into the motor mount. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and install our motor into that little puck. So what Anson's going to do here first, he's going to take a little bit of Loctite,
Loctite blue, not red. If you
Yeah.
use red, you'll never get it out.
Yep, make sure to use the blue. And you don't have to do this step, it just keeps the screws from backing out. So he's just gonna put a drop.
Just on the first like 3 to 4 threads. That's all you need. And then you just can pick it. Oh, this is magnetic. That's nice.
That's why something I do different here, Anson put it on the screw. I load the screw into the screw head for the screwdriver first and then dip it into the. Now make sure your holes align, Anson, because they do have a
Odd proportionality.
yeah.
Yep, they align.
And you just want to go just a little bit tight, just
Yep.
finger tight,
And then
and then
you undo your
install
next
the other
screw.
screw.
And then just make sure you go opposite. Don't go too next to each other because then it won't be tight. So go two opposite and then just thread it in. It helps to actually not tighten the first one all the way yet and just tighten them both loosely. So that way you both get them started and then you can tighten them both completely. And then there you go.
Okay, those are good and tight in there, Anson. You give them a
Yep.
good tight.
Yep. Just whoop.
All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and install the puck into the mount. And
So
the
there's-
way you want that to go, this is the top. Actually,
That's
reverse
the
it.
top.
That's the top. So you want these wires to come out on the left or the right side,
Yep, but pointing down.
pointing down.
And then you'll see there's little holes in each one, so you should be able to jab a screwdriver in there
Just to line them up.
just to line them up. But of course they're gonna unalign. You don't need to put Loctite on these ones. Right.
Nope.
Yeah,
No Loctite.
That's what I thought. Had to double check that.
And just finger tight. You don't want to over tighten these because these are just plastic mounts. And if you go over tight, you're actually going to strip the hole.
Yep.
So you just go until it's snug and then stop, because that's all these screws do is keep the puck in place. Nothing to do with the screw being tight. And we're just using the screws that came with our motor.
And then 2 is enough, but for extra safety you can do all 4. We will be doing all 4.
Yep, and just like Anson showed too, he only installed 2 screws into the puck that go into the motor. He used Loctite on it, but you could easily used all 4 screws, no problem. One thing that's nice about this motor mount design is if the screws ever do come loose on your motor, and you know that this is not secure anymore, if the screws do come loose, this is all enclosed, so your screws will be inside there. You won't have to worry about losing the screws. Okay, next we're going to install this onto the fuselage.
I'll let Delaney do that.
Oh, thanks. How kind.
Okay, the next thing Delaney's going to do here, Delaney's going to show you how to install the motor mount on there, and it just slides on. Kind of use your fingers to brace it just so you don't break the foam at all. And the motor mount's installed. Next step we're going to move on to is installing the speed controller.
Ready?
All right, Delaney's going to go ahead and install the speed controller. It doesn't matter where these wires get connected right now.
Perfect.
Okay, next thing we're going to do is we are going
Did you
to
already put the Velcro?
I did not. I was gonna demo that.
Oh,
put a
alright.
piece of Velcro on the back side of the speed controller. So you have 2 pieces of Velcro in your kit,
You have the hook and loop.
and you're just gonna cut it so that you have a small piece of Velcro.
Same with as your ESC. And then you can just hot glue.
No, go on the other side, Anson. On that side.
Okay.
Anson likes to use a lot of hot glue.
I do. It's called strength, integrity, weight.
Now just hold that down there and let it dry. Okay, what Anson can do here is he's gonna take this to its maximum length so that the wires don't get in the way of the prop. And go ahead, Anson, maybe on the bottom here. And he's finding a landing spot for mounting the speed controller. Nope.
No.
See how these wires are dangly? You want them to be nice and tight.
Yeah, here we can maybe do it like that. Yeah. You can't make it all the way to a flat spot with it. Yeah, you can actually.
Yep.
Alright.
So that's where you're gonna glue that in place. Another thing Anson can do, he can put a little tack of glue right here just to keep our wires in place, but still so we can access these.
Another alternative is if you're going for a more final approach, you can take your knife and slit it right there and then tuck the wires into the fuselage.
Yeah, if you want to do the knife and tuck, we can do that too. So you could hot glue to the surface, or like Anson's doing right now, he's getting the knife out. He's just making a cut into the fuselage.
Yep.
And then he's going to embed them. And you can use one of these toothpicks, Anson. Always use something wood when you're going to embed the wires.
And it just gives you a slightly more professional look. And it's a little more aerodynamic too.
And then you can put a little bit of hot glue over the top of that and squeegee the hot glue in.
Yep, and then they won't pop out.
There you go, Anson.
Yep.
There you go. And like he just did, we're not trying to remove the glue, we're just trying to squeegee the glue into the slot there.
Yep.
So now you see the speed controllers in there, we can still access our wires. So everything's looking really good there. Next thing we're going to do here, we're going to install this little side piece. And Delaney, that should almost pop out without even
I was
using
gonna
a
say,
knife.
yeah, I guess I don't really need a knife.
Alright, remember, push that servo wire through the fuselage first. Yep, just like that. Perfect. Now to keep that from going anywhere, she's just going to make sure it's flush. She's going to grab the hot glue gun and put a bead of glue. And you don't have to go around the whole perimeter, but just in several spots. Just do like 2 or 3 inch long spots. You can lay the fuselage on its side too, Delaney. Put the tail off
Well,
this.
yeah.
No, put the
Hang it
tail
off the
on
table.
Side, off the side of the table. There you go. Now it's much easier to work on.
What the heck, Anson?
It's not on.
Ooh.
And then you could stop there, Delaney, so the other glue doesn't dry, and just squeegee it in place.
I'll be back. I'm new to this. You figure out where they are.
Oh, and when you're squeegeeing, Delaney, take this over the seam like that so you don't push it in. Just like that. And now you can do down here too.
You could also, as a note, if you want, you could do another cut and tuck on that wire if you want it to look a little smoother.
Yep, just like Anson said, you can make a little cut here and embed that wire if you wanted to ahead
We're
of
not
time.
going to do that, but
Just a good little, you know.
Do a bead maybe right there. There you go, Delaney. Now just squeegee that in place while the glue is hot.
Alright.
Perfect. Okay, the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to install this Y harness, and we're also going to install the skewers into the side of the fuselage, and then we're going to put the wing onto the fuselage. So Delaney, go ahead and grab the skewers. You're going to count back 4 holes here. And then you're going to count forward 4 holes. Delaney's going to take the wing. Actually, Delaney, what you can do first is put
install the
the
Y harness.
Y harness on. And the Y harness is going to go on here so that yellow goes to yellow, red goes to red, brown goes to brown.
Yeah, first time.
Hey.
Alright.
Now go ahead and install the wing.
Where the rubber bands.
Rubber bands
Over there.
are right here. And this wire should be dangling down the side.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Okay, so Delaney's got the skewers in place. She's got the wires off to the side. The next she's gonna do, hang on Delaney, give me that real quick. She's gonna take this piece and install it right here. So she's gonna do that by applying a little bit of hot glue. To the back side of that. And she's gonna put it right up to the back edge. Put it in place and let that dry for a second. Now, the easiest way to get our rubber bands installed is to take the wing and slide the wing forward of the fuselage. Hook your rubber band on the back and now pull it holding.
Hold. Thank you. There we go.
And now she's going to do the other side.
And make sure that the crease here is in the middle of your fuselage.
Yep, you want your wing about as centered as you can get it. And we got 4 rubber bands, so we're going to use all 4 rubber bands.
Do you want to hook that one on there for me? I just can't
Yep.
see it. Thank you.
All right, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to install our propeller on the back of the motor. Okay, in your kit, you're going to have 2 propellers. One's going to be a tri-blade, one's a bi-blade or 2-blade. So just pick whichever propeller you want, and we're going to go ahead and install that onto the motor.
We're opting for the tri-blade because it's pink and we like it more. But when installing a propeller, there's going to be numbers printed on the front, and we can demo that here too. I don't know if it will show up on camera, but they're very small. You'll see them in real life. Just choose those numbers, and those numbers always face forward. And then you put it on, and then you put your nut on. Then you take your screw driver, which is a
So you could use a screwdriver.
5/16, or you can use a nut driver or a
Or even a wrench will do.
Yeah, crescent wrench or anything. You just tighten it up until
You
it's
see how
tight.
Anson's holding the motor as you twist it on
Yep.
there?
Because if you don't hold the motor, it'll just spin the prop. So you just gotta hold the motor.
And you just gotta go till it's snug.
Yep, and it's snugged up right now, so it's all ready.
So now we got our motor installed and our prop. Okay, the next thing Anson's gonna do here, you have a battery strap inside the package or inside your kit. We're gonna install that.
And so how you install it is you punched out this little slot right there. You're gonna put it so that the label is up, stem plus C is up. You're gonna push it through that. And you're gonna grab it on the other side, pull it through. So it sits on top. And then when you install your battery,
Let me tell them something about the battery, Anson.
All right.
Hang on a second here. So this is what we're using. This is a 3S or a 12 volt battery. This is a 2.2 amp hour battery. So this is what we suggest, but you can get away with a much smaller battery. Just if you use a smaller battery, you're gonna end up having to move your wing aft to accommodate the CG. But anyway, we'll have Anson go ahead and put the battery in there and then strap it in place. I like to put the battery in so that the cable side is along the wall of the fuselage.
so you're gonna shove it on top of your battery strap. So this one's a little wrinkled, so you're gonna push it in like this. Push it as far in as you can, and then you're gonna pull this up, put the hook there, pull through, and then just wrap that onto itself like that. And now,
Now we're gonna hook up the receiver.
yep. So identify your
Speed
identify
controller?
your speed
I'll hold
controller.
this up in
Yeah,
the air
yeah,
so it's
that's
easier to get to.
So it's gonna be number 1. So you're gonna see 1, 2, 3, 4 on your receiver. You're gonna ignore bat, and you're gonna see number 1 is your ESC.
Your throttle.
Throttle ESC. So you're gonna push that in to slot number 1. I think I'm good. And you're gonna push it in as far as you can.
Just like that. So you see how he's got it number 1 slot?
Yep. And then number 2 is gonna be your ailerons.
And we're putting the black side down on the bottom of the receiver.
Yep,
and
black or
the-
brown.
Black or brown, yep. And then the white or yellow on the top of the receiver.
Facing the numbers. And then number 2 is going to be your ailerons. So you're just going to shove that right into number 2, right behind it. And then your last one is going to be your elevator, which is number 3. And if eventually you do make yourself a rudder, that would be number 4. So you just shove those all in so they're tight and snug. And then you can install a piece of Velcro for your receiver. Pop it somewhere like there. I like to do it on the top usually, or you could do it in the bottom here on top of these wires, but there's not much space for it. Or you could even do it along the wall here.
Along the wall.
Yeah, along the wall would be easiest because to bind it, you're going to need to click this button. So you're going to want to have access to it.
Okay, so the next thing Anson's gonna do, he's gonna cut a little piece of Velcro to attach the to the receiver. So make sure you have the opposite end.
Yep.
So this happens to be the fuzzy side, so he's gonna need the plastic side now. And you can cut a little bit bigger strip of this. It doesn't have to be small, so that you can vary the placement of your receiver. Anson, I would install that on the top right here.
on the
Would be
top?
perfect, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Or on the
I think the
back
wall
side.
is nice.
Yeah, the wall is fine. There's really no wrong place to install this.
Usually I do the top if you don't have a lot of space, but this one you have a lot of space along the wall, so it's just nice.
And if you got a partner with you, it's easy to hold.
Yep. And you just push it down, give it a second to dry, and you just snug this up on it, or I guess it's gonna go this way. You're just gonna push it down there, and then it's installed, and you can just kind of make your wires look nice. Try and tuck as much of the wires in as you can.
Okay, one last thing we've got to go through here is determining your center of gravity on the wing. So right now, as we built this with the 2200 milliamp hour battery, 3S 2200, and we went back 4 here and forward 4 here. This is going to land right on the center of gravity. But Anson, go ahead and lay down the airplane. We're going to show you how to actually calculate the center of gravity.
Or where it should be. Not calculate where it is, where it should be.
Where it should be, where your CG should be. So Anson's going to lay the ruler out there.
And you see that the wing is 190 millimeters.
Go ahead and move your fingers for a minute. The wing is 190 millimeters.
Roughly
wide.
Oh.
So Anson's going to go onto the calculator here. 190.
And for a rectangular wing, it's supposed to be between 20 and 30% from the aft.
No,
So-
20 to 30% from the leading edge.
Yeah, from the leading edge. Oh,
So 190.
yep, times 0.2. So it should be between 38 millimeters. So here, I'm going to flip the ruler around actually so I can mark exactly that. So I'm going to mark around 35 is probably good. So I might put a mark there. And then you do 190 times 0.3. You get 57, so that's basically 60, so you can just round that up to 60, and so your CG should be between those two marks. And then you can mark that on both sides of the wings.
Yep, go ahead and mark it on both sides.
So it was 35 I went with, and
Now, what you can do, Anson can take his pencil and right in the middle, put a dimple. Push it through.
yep.
That'll give you something tactile to feel for.
And now we're gonna test the CG.
Yep. So
So
Anson,
to test for a CG, you're just gonna take your fingers, you're gonna take 2 fingers, both your pointer fingers, and you're gonna put them on where that hole is. Find the hole with both your fingers and see how the airplane balances at that point and how it's level. That means the CG's right. But see, if I go further back, it nose dives, and if I go further forward, it drops its tail.
okay, so put your fingers where the CG is, Anson.
Yep, and if I go back to where the CG is, it'll balance again.
Now let me get underneath there just to show them what we're doing here. And you notice Anson's fingers are right on where the CG, where we calculated. Now, when you get this all together, if your airplane's not balancing there where you need it to balance, you can move your battery fore and aft, or you can unrubber band the wing and move your wing forward or aft to accommodate the CG. Anything else, Anson?
No, that's all.
We're gonna go ahead to our radio. Here we're using a Spectrum radio. And the first thing we're gonna do with our radio, we're gonna make sure all our switches are full forward. So make sure every single switch is full forward.
So if any switches were like this, you want to make sure they're all the way forward, and you want to make sure that your throttle is all the way down and then in the middle, and then you're good.
And then we're gonna turn the radio on. Now, we've already got it set up with the Benett trainer. Now we're gonna go through and show you how to bind this radio to the receiver that's installed in the airplane. And again, we're using Spectrum here. Your school might use something different, but we're showing you how to do this with Spectrum. So Anson, you can go ahead and plug in
Battery.
battery.
And when you plug in the battery, you're going to
And
want
I'll hold this for you, Anson, so you can get a better camera shot here.
and that makes it easier on me as well. So when you plug in the battery, you're just going to shove these two together, and then you're going to click the receiver so it's flashing. You want to make sure that's flashing.
And then you can tuck those wires in there too,
Yep.
Anson, so they're nice and pretty.
Let's see, what's the best way to do that?
Yep,
There we
just
go.
like that.
Just like that. And the way I know to bind is turn the controller off. This one's doing a complain thing.
And you'll notice that the motor is making a beeping sound, and that's normal. That means that the motor doesn't have a signal because we have not bound the receiver yet.
So to bind, there's a bind button right here. You're gonna wanna press it down. Some controllers have a bind switch. You're gonna just flick that up, and you're gonna hold that down while you turn it on, and then it's gonna connect to that.
Binding. DSMX 11 milliseconds. Telemetry. Bind complete.
Okay, now Anson's gonna exercise his controls. Anson, make sure things are going the right direction. So the tail is going the
tail
wrong
is
direction.
wrong way, and ailerons are the right way. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and fix this in our controller.
So let's go servo setup.
Wait, hang on. Anson, how'd you get there?
So there you have the scroll wheel here on the side. You can click it down, and you're gonna scroll down to servo setup, and you're gonna go travel, sub trim, reverse, and you're gonna scroll through here, and you're gonna find elevator. And you're gonna click on it, and it's gonna flick the little virtual switch.
And that little flip that he made is reversing the signal
Yep.
for the elevator.
And so you can also do that for your ailerons if they're in You can also do that for your ailerons if they're in reverse, or your rudder if you have a rudder. And so now you can notice it goes the right way.
Now you notice when he pulls back,
It goes
it's
up,
the right way.
and when I push down, it noses you down.
Now let's do the aileron control. Okay, one thing I noticed in this radio is we've got a whole bunch of trim in there.
Yep.
And you also see it reflected in the flight controls. So Anson, go ahead and take out that trim.
So the way to take out trim or add trim is these little switches right here, and you just hold it.
And
No,
make sure
beep.
your elevator is neutral as well.
Yep, your elevator is a +10 on this controller. It'll give you a loud chirp when it's done.
Now you can look at your control surfaces here. And the ailerons are slightly drooping. We can correct those by flipping the airplane over.
And adjusting the,
Clevises.
yep. You just loosen these up and you adjust these so these are flush again.
Yep, let's go ahead and do that real quick,
Okay.
Anson.
And you can do this with your controller on.
So see here, this is slightly not flush. So that's what we're gonna fix right now. So that's all he's gotta do is crack the screw a little bit just to loosen it. Now we're back to
Yeah,
flush.
hold it there, Paulie.
I'm holding it for him. And now he can tighten it down real good.
Yep, and then we're gonna do the same to the other side.
And it really helps to have a partner help you do this, because one guy can do the screwing, the other guy can do the holding.
All right, and tightening it back up.
Nice and flush. Did you
Yep.
give it a good tighten,
Yep,
Anson?
it's as tight as it goes.
Let's flip it back over again.
And then the other thing we recommend in your controller settings is we recommend setting up a throttle kill switch for safety.
Yes, let's go through doing that. So right now, Anson, give it some throttle. See if we have the
yep.
throttle kill switch set up.
We do have a throttle
So we
kill.
do have it set up, but we're going to walk you through how to set that
Yeah,
up.
but what it does is if a student or a teacher accidentally bumps this, the throttle won't turn on, whereas if I turn this off,
No, now it's on.
it is on. The prop will spin up and it can harm somebody. So we're gonna turn it off. But the way to set that up is
Go down to
Throttle
the
cut.
throttle cut.
and you're gonna go, you're gonna set that position to -100 or 0 or anything, right? And then you're gonna choose which switch you want it. We have it bound to switch H, or we could rebind it to switch G. And the way to find switches is you just flick the switch you want it bound to. So we want it back on switch H, which is a 2-position switch. And you can then,
Something I want to show you here. See how the first one is a 0 and the second one is a 1?
that's the position of the switch.
That's the position of the switch. And you notice that little dot changes on the bottom there as I'm moving this. So right now, the black spot is highlighted there. That tells me that's the throttle cut one. If Anson scrolls back over and clicks that and makes it clear, now the motor's going to work. We don't want that. So we're going to click back down here again, make
Set it
that
up.
black.
Yep, or you
And
could
leave
change.
the other one white.
Yep, or you could choose to have it the other switch. It's up to you.
No, doing that, Anson, would not make it do another switch.
No, it would just make it a different position.
Yes,
Different
yes.
position of the switch, sorry.
This is the way I always suggest to set it up, because when you start up your radio, as long as you followed what we said to do, all switches forward, there's no way a kid could accidentally bump this and cause the throttle to run up. So anyway, we got our throttle cut appropriately set up. Now let's check and make sure that our throttle is going the right way. So go to back to the main menu.
Turn off your throttle, or turn on your throttle, turn off your throttle cut, and you can feel air pushing my way. And you can go here and you can feel air being sucked in. If you felt air being pushed that way, or if you didn't feel any air being pushed either way, that means either your motor is reversed or your prop is backwards. But if you followed our prop number technique, it won't be backwards prop. Now,
So hang on a second. Is our throttle going the right way?
it is right now.
Wait, let me see. Oh, it is going the right way.
Yeah, but hypothetically, it is a random chance. It's like a 50-50 chance that
Wait,
it goes the
hang on.
wrong way. In which case, if it is going the wrong way, you just unplug 2 bullets of your choosing and switch them around. And you just go that, and now our throttle will go the wrong way.
Yes, like Anson said, if the motor was spinning the wrong way or the prop was spinning the wrong way, just do like Anson just showed you there and just reverse 2 of any one of the 3 motor wires.
Yep. But we're going to reverse ours back because it was correct. So Oop. Oop. All right.
Now, we're done with the build. Let's see, the next video that I'm gonna put together here is gonna be an extras video. And the extras is gonna be things like painting the fuselage or plastic dipping the fuselage, putting a spar on the bottom of the fuselage here to just stiffen up the fuselage and stiffen up the wing fuselage section. But anyway, that'll be a whole different video. Right now, we've got a Benett V2 built. Thanks, Anson. Thanks, Delaney.